experience. And then on top of that, y'all talk about getting into fields with high demand. I got fed up with it. So air traffic controllers in high demand now. So fortunately, I've got myself a job with them.
Well, good. Oh, yeah. And we got a story today. They're recruiting teenagers because they're so good at video games. I mean, they're wanting 18-year-olds to come and start running the consoles because they're used to, all the graphics and the things doing that. And these old codgers can't deal with it.
Good news for a couple of our kids. Let's go to.
I ought to have one that can work at Hartsfield.
Let's go to Jeff, Hueytown, Alabama. Jeff, go ahead.
KJ4JJ, WA4ZVG. Hey, Bill.
Jeff, what's up?
Hey, did you get the video I sent you on Hannity Combs?
I did. I have not had a chance to look at it. We have a feminist who is unhappy with the term on signs, men at work. What does she want to replace it with, Jeff?
Something like person at work or something like that. It had some alternatives up there.
Let me tell you something, Cupcake. If that's your biggest problem today, you are blessed beyond comprehension. If your big worry in life is a sign
at work,
is a sign that says men at work, that's your big issue. You know what you need to do? You need to try to kiss God today. Because let me tell you something. He has blessed you beyond comprehension. Your big issue. Let's continue. Let's go to Becky in Anniston. Becky's listening to the Big 95. Becky, welcome to the program. Go right ahead.
Hi, Rick and Bubba. This is my first time on the show. But I've got a comment on your minimum wage.
Yes.
My dad worked for a company, and he worked for them for 43 years, and that company rewarded him by pushing him forward for what he worked for. But today, big business does not reward their employees for what they know. I've worked as waitress. I've driven a big truck. I've worked everything. I was a paramedic for 12 years. I've been a jack of all trades. A big business does not reward you. So all the people have is minimum wage.
Well, Becky, let me address these kind of one at a time. Let's just say, Becky, you know the food business because you've been a waitress. Why do you think the owner of a restaurant would intentionally mistreat or underpay you as a waitress because you are the one who is meeting the public? A bad waitress can the people who are actually waiting the tables can kill a restaurant. Wouldn't you agree?
Because the waitresses have to report their tips. Not only that, but in some restaurants, all the waitresses have to pull their tips.
Well, Becky, wait a minute. Time out. Becky, we're not. Becky, I know, but you didn't answer my question.
And by the way,
we'll talk about that. I think y'all get a raw deal on that.
Yeah, I really do. Can I write something down too? When did a restaurant become big business?
Yeah, but let's go back. Why,
anyway,
Becky? I own a restaurant. You work for me as a waitress. Wouldn't you be very important? Aren't you my PR department out there? You're my sales and my PR department, right?
Of course I am.
So why would I intentionally treat you bad? Wouldn't that come back to hurt me?
Sure it would, but it's a chain. So that makes it big business.
Well, no, I'm just talking about I'm the manager. It doesn't matter if it's a chain or not.
Yeah, okay.
I'm the manager. I'm the owner. Whatever. Let's just play this scenario.
You may be a clown that runs the thing.
Yeah, who knows? You're my waitress out there. Don't I want you to be a good waitress, meet the public, do a good job, and get the orders right?
Sure, I do.
So I will try to hire the best waitresses that I can get, right?
Sure. But I have to pull my tips. I have to give my tips to the bus boy. I have to give my tips, share my tips with the cook. So
I can't have this conversation.
Does that give me
I know why you didn't get a raise. You won't listen. I would fire you, Becky. You're a terrible employee. You won't listen. If you take orders like you carry on a phone conversation, no wonder. That is an example for everybody. That's why. But that is exactly why we're in the mess we're in.
I did find myself
She's going to talk about Becky. I would defend you on tips, and you know who's getting you on that? That's the government and the way they're doing the IRS and the returns. That ain't the restaurant owner.
Rick and Bubba. NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. The Department of Justice is launching a review of the police response to last week's deadly school shooting in Uvalde, Texas. The city's mayor, Don McLaughlin, requested the probe after local police admitted to a number of failures in their response to the shooting that left 21 people dead, including 19 children. Senator Ben Cardin is decrying Congress's inability to debate gun control following a slew of deadly mass shootings.
We've not been able to get 10 senators to allow us to even start debate.
Appearing on Fox News Sunday, the Maryland Democrat also went on to question why military-style weapons were so easily available for public purchase. Getting them off the street would be very helpful in saving lives. AR-15-style weapons were used in the Parkland and Sandy Hook school shootings, in addition to the recent tragedy in Uvalde, Texas. A Southern California bishop is being tapped to become a cardinal. Bill Farrar has the details.
San Diego Bishop Robert McElroy, one of 21 new cardinals named by Pope Francis. He is the only one chosen from the United States. Church leaders say the promotion of cardinal is seen as significant because the 68-year-old McElroy has been an outspoken ally of Francis' pastoral approach in issues such as protection of the environment and a more welcoming approach to gay Catholics. I'm Bill Farrar.
The World Health Organization says it has received over 250 reports of confirmed monkeypox cases and 120 suspected cases in 23 countries where the virus is not endemic. 9 likely cases of monkeypox have also been identified in the U.S. so far. And Memorial Day cookouts are costing Americans more this year as the price of goods continues to surge. The price per package of ground beef increased by nearly 15% from last year. Hot dogs, hamburger, and hot dog buns and other cookout fixings have also sharply increased in price. Food prices were nearly 10% higher this year than last. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Turning Point Church in Scottsburg Vacation Bible School will be June the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Turning Point is located at 899 West McLean Avenue in Scottsburg. Times of the event are from 6 to 8:30 each evening. Children who come to Vacation Bible School will get a free meal from 6 to 6:30. Please register through our website, which is turningpointchurchscottsburg.com, or in person on the day of the event.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that really actually matter. Like the gap between your bed and wall that's big enough for your phone, but not your hand. Or the gutters growing their own trees. Or the wall outlet your kids keep calling Sparky. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be your heating or air conditioning. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Give Seth at Marshall's a call today at 812-967-3742, and we'll be glad to take care of you.
Spring is here and McDonald's is hiring in Salem. Work close to home, part-time, or full-time. McDonald's offers flexible scheduling, competitive pay, college tuition assistance, and more. Text APPLY to 38,000 to connect with a job.
From the Wslm Weatherbird Weather Center, you're never more than 20 minutes away from the latest weather. Today, sunny with a high near 86. Tonight, mostly clear with low around 66. And for tomorrow, sunny with a high near 88. I'm Mark Winston, and this forecast was brought to you by Salem Hardwood Lumber.
Keith, am I saying it right?
That's correct.
Yay! Awesome. Well, good for me. So it's going to be a good morning, right?
Banner Monday.
Banner Monday. Let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We have Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox Curly Wealth Management.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors. And we should be having Claude Combs going to be calling in and giving us reports from the different cemeteries that they go to, and they do a wonderful ceremony. They salute, they fire so many shots, and they do a little bit, I think, a prayer, and then they get back in the car, and then they go to another cemetery. So they hit several cemeteries.
Moving and shaking this morning, every Memorial Day.
Yes, and all the ladies there sending them off with a good breakfast, so they've got the energy. They're they're fueled and ready to go. So anyway, so we'll be getting that call too. I do want to remind everybody too, I'm going to be doing the sound system up there at Crown Hill Cemetery at 11 a.m. They always do a beautiful, Sergeant Kevin Bateman will be doing that. And so that's always a nice memorial to go to. And it's free. It's at the Crown Hill Cemetery. I want to remind everybody about going up for that. Also, let's see real quick what today is. We do know we're going to be talking with Janet is going to give us all the information about quilting. And actually coming up about quilts. So, and I think you guys got a big thing coming up. Hang on, hang on. Hold on. Let me do my holidays first because that's what's popping up here. Okay. Today is the 30th day of May. Today is Memorial Day. My bucket's got a hole in it day. Ooh, never had that.
No.
No?
I hope not.
No, hope not. Okay. Dear Liza, there's a hole in my bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah. National Creative Day. So, Janet, do you consider yourself creative?
Absolutely. Only with quilting.
Yeah?
I didn't even take art in high school because I couldn't draw. I could only do stickman and it was, so I found my niche here with quilting.
Yay!
That's
And it's a
awesome.
stitch. Is that, wait, I'm rhyming. Found my niche is a stitch.
I found my niche in stitching.
There we go.
See, that's awesome.
Laura, do you feel like you're creative?
I like to make like wreaths and things. I always help the residents at Christmas make different things for the doors.
I think you're creative, yeah. I consider myself creative. I just have to, sometimes I can't draw like I want to. Like it comes in my head, but I can't put it to pen to paper. I'm having trouble with that. National Mint Julep Day. A little bit off, but for those that are still lingering around.
I didn't care for those.
Yeah. Water a Flower Day. Do you water your flowers, Laura?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love my flowers.
What kind of flowers do you have?
Oh my gosh.
Are you a flower person?
Yeah. Oh, they're out everywhere.
I
have several gardens and then all my pots are full and
love them too. What about you?
plants. I probably have 60, 70 plants in my house. I just
Oh!
love
Yeah.
plants and
Don't
gardens.
you feel like that puts out such, I mean, it's good, like good air and just toxins, killing the toxins, I always say.
Now they've started coming into my bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got them in every room.
Yeah, I love that. World MS Day. All right. So those are our days.
I have a sister with MS.
Oh, is that right? All right. Well, today is the day. So there we go. All right. So coming up on Memorial Day, we want to thank all of our veterans and those have served and for our country and wonderful, and we salute them for sure. All right, let's jump in. Janet, tell us what you got coming up. And I want to make sure, I think we need to I can't get that microphone closer to you. There we go. There we go.
So June 10th and 11th is our quilt show.
Okay.
I'm a member of Washington County Peacemakers Quilt Guild. And the show will be 9 to 4 on Friday and 9 to 3 on Saturday.
Okay.
So I'm the featured quilter this year. Every year we have a featured quilter and we have our little corner or area where we feature some of our quilts.
Oh.
But then sometimes we have over 200 quilts hanging. We'll have some vendors there as well selling their goods, fabric and notions and whatnot.
Right. I love this. Okay, so let's go back over. First of all, how many are in the group?
I think we're at 60 right now.
Wow. Is that up or is that
It's down.
Is it?
It's a little bit down.
Okay. I know I've talked to
Because of COVID.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't had a show for 2 years.
Yeah.
So 2019 was our last show, and I was supposed to be the featured quilter of 2020, and of course 2021. So I feel like I just ready to get this done.
Yeah. During COVID though, that kind of gave you time to work on some quilts, like
Yes, I mean I've made anywhere from 25 to 30 quilts a year while working full time. So
oh wow.
Now I've retired in end of 2021. So. But I bought a long arm, so I'm starting to quilt my own. I was sending my quilts out to be quilted. If they were small, I would quilt them myself on the small machine, but it's hard to get a big quilt in this little small throat.
Yeah,
So
right.
it was a big investment, but I decided to do it because I know I'm not going to quit. I love it. So
what's a long arm?
Okay, a long arm is you have a big quilting frame that's 8. Like I got the extension, I have a 10-foot frame.
Okay.
And so if you're free motion quilting, the needle is the pin and you're moving the paper. Okay. So you're moving your hands.
Okay,
That's what I was doing. So go ahead.
We're going to come back to that in just a second. I do believe we have Claude Combs with us. Good morning, Claude.
Morning.
And happy Memorial Day, and thank you for calling in. What a beautiful Memorial Day, right?
Oh yeah, this is nice. I like this. It's no rain, no thunderstorms, nothing. Beautiful day.
No complaining at anywhere, right? On that.
That's right. That's right.
All right. Well, let's talk about your morning. Did you have a big breakfast?
Yeah, we had breakfast. The girls and Chris Boulay fixed breakfast as usual. We just got through with Smedley, headed to Mount Tabor.
All right. For those that are new and are listening, tell a little bit of your format when you arrive at a cemetery.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, when we get there, we have of course, the rifles and the honor guard, and we'll go through the memorial prayer first thing, and then we salute them with the firing of the rifles, and then we have the taps. It's basically kind of a short thing. We don't fold the flags or nothing like at a cemetery, but we do it at 9 cemeteries and then at the post.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. Love that. Now, am I going to put you on the spot if I ask you to name the different cemeteries, Claude?
Well, we leave here, we go to Mount Tabor. We left Smedley, Mount Tabor, Old Union, Livonia, Claysville, Saltello, Cave Town, Carmel, and Mount Carmel, and Hop. 9 of them.
All right, wonderful. Well, I love this tradition. And how many years have you been doing this, Claude?
I think this is my 52nd, maybe.
I love that. Love that.
On my age now.
No, you're just 53, so you started it when you were just a babe in arms.
Yeah, right back. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No. Well, Claude, I think it's awesome, and I love that we bring some wonderful attention to our wonderful veterans there and to those cemeteries and how important they all are in our community.
Yeah, we had a really nice crowd there at Smedley this morning. It's usually somebody about at every cemetery, but Smedley and Saltello and Livonia usually has a really good showing. There are a lot of people out.
Right, love that. And approximately how many are there of you guys how many cars we got going? Caravan?
Oh, well, yeah, we got a caravan, but it's 5, 9, 10,
oh, awesome.
11. There's about 12 of us, not all in it. There's some veterans that are just going, and standing. But we've got, of course, the 4 rifles, the commander, and then the 2 honor guard rifles and the 2 flags. And, of course, the 2 buglers are there,
Yeah. I love that. And what an honor for the buglers, too. That's such an honor.
Christian and Colin. Christian drove in he got up this morning 5 o'clock, and he teaches down in Kentucky. I can't think where it's at right now, but he drove all the way up there, and he made it right on time.
Well,
I think that's this is their Christian and Colin's 9th or 10th year to do it with us. So
well, they've been raised. They know how to be there on time.
right. He left at 5 a.m., so he got there.
Well, I'm so happy, and that's such a wonderful tradition and such a great honor to be all of that, and I'd be a part of all that. So I'm so excited.
But he is. You're right.
Yeah, definitely. Claude, thank you so much for calling in, and we salute all of our fallen veterans and our veterans, and and Memorial Day. Actually, this is a time to realize that our veterans and the ones that have passed, and we thank them for their service, and we're very much honored and to show honor to them, and we are where we're at because of them.
That's right. We're free because of those that come before us, right?
Absolutely. Claude, keep up the great work. If you guys get a selfie, you'll have to text it to me, okay? If you'll do a selfie for me.
Do what?
What's that?
What'd you say?
If you'll take a photo, a selfie for me, and text it to me, I would love that. I'm sure.
You mean out here, the guys?
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, I'm sure Dave Brown is somewhere around there, and he knows me in photos too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
I can do.
I would love that. Thank you, Claude. Keep up the great work, hon. Be safe. Bye-bye.
All right, checking in there. Yeah.
You threw him off with a selfie.
Selfie,
Should
yeah.
have assigned
Claude
someone.
knows. He knows.
Just go
he
take
knows.
the picture.
That's
funny.
Yeah. They'll, but how awesome is that? And I love the tradition, and they do it every year, and it's dedication. I mean, that's a lot to organize it and everybody. And you know how, like, I love that they're putting their words into motion. You know how a lot of times you think, oh, we should do this, or this sounds good, a plan of action, or oh, we need to do this, and then it doesn't always get followed through it. Well, this is always followed through with, and there's so many people involved in it, and it just, it's wonderful. So appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna go back. Janet, sorry about that. All right, we were talking about that long arm thing. Okay, so that's the way that people do the big.
That's how you sandwich it. You know, that's the icing on the cake is what I think the quilting stitches are.
Okay.
I always
So
say that's the pretty designs.
Yeah. I think most people, when you get a quilt, you flip it over to see, right?
right.
You see the designs and do like your pattern, would that be different than someone else's? You kind of got your own distinguished pattern?
No, not really. Like I said, free motion quilting on a small home machine is you're moving the quilt and you're just meandering around usually. Some people get really into it and do intricate designs. It's harder to do that way, but on a long arm, if you buy the computer, which I did because it takes a lot of classes and a lot of learning to get, and rulers, and it takes a lot of time to do, and you're standing.
Yeah.
Mine's a stand-up, so I don't want to do this. So went ahead and invested in the computer, which is a lot more money, but I felt it was worth it. So now I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of patterns to choose from.
Oh, wow.
So it's fun. I still have a lot to learn because I just got it in January.
Oh, yeah. Well, then, that is, I would think it would take, How many approximately have you done
Since I got the long run? Oh, goodness, maybe 8. But I won't do it for anybody else. I'm only doing it for myself, you know, because it's just too much time. It's a lot of time involved.
Definitely.
It's not the part I enjoy because that's not the creating part.
Right.
You know, picking out the pattern and the fabrics and changing it up however I want to. And, you know, to me, it's like working a puzzle.
Sure.
You know, I used to sew a lot. I took home ec every year in school, and I loved sewing, but it was always clothes or, those kind of items. I'd made a few quilts in my 20s, and then I didn't know how to sandwich them. The quilting part is where I failed, and I was in California, and I didn't know anybody that quilted, so the last one I was trying to make for my mom, I failed miserably, and I put it away, and I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. I never quilted again for 30 years. But then when I joined the Quilt Guild in 2015, the women there are very eager and they're wonderful by sharing their knowledge. And I learned from the other women. If you have a question, you can always go to YouTube now.
Yeah,
there's so much. Or ask someone in the guild. So
that's true.
And we'll have little classes sometimes before the meeting, and people share their knowledge of different things. So I walked around for years saying I want to quilt. I want to learn how to quilt, and didn't know where to start. And when a friend of mine said she was joining the Peacemakers Quilt Guild, I said, "What's that?" I mean, I hadn't gone to a quilt show or anything because I really wasn't. I loved them, but I didn't know it even existed. So when I joined, it's like, I said, I want to join now because I don't want to wait till I'm retired. I just took off and made 157 quilts since March of 2015 when I joined. So I just love it. It's a good organization, and it's a good group of women. And I know there's a lot of people out there like I was that wants to learn how to quilt. If you know how to use a sewing machine, you can learn how to quilt.
Right.
So
are you are you the quilt maker that, do you believe in using your quilts, or do you just display them?
I use them. I use them and display them, so they're all over my house.
So you like to see them used, utilized for
Absolutely.
You can't beat a good quilt. I mean, is that like, you talk about comfort?
Oh yeah.
I mean, like when you put on a pair of sweats. I mean, just
I have a quilt
you get
from
home.
I think it was 56.
An old one, yeah.
Yeah, it's super old. I only use it every once in a while. It's red, white, and blue. So, like the holidays, I'll always put it on our bed just because it's so pretty, but then it comes back off. It's only out for the day. It's so old, though. I don't want it to be tore up.
I understand.
Yeah. So what are the best ways of washing a quilt? Do you have any techniques when you do, let's say I like the idea that if you have something, utilize it, use it. That's what it was, And years ago, let's go back, that's what they made them for, blankets and using. And you can't beat a good, wonderful soft quilt or a quilt, So are there any certain ways that you wash them?
Not really, just, delicate soap, wash and dry, whatever, I don't pre-wash my fabrics, so I haven't had any bleed onto the other colors, but I haven't had that problem. But all my grandchildren, they've washed them all the time and they still look great. So
yeah.
That's the real test.
Yeah. Yes. So going back then, when you were so you were younger, you did sewing, and that was impressed on you. So did who inspired you to quilt? And that's a different, was it your mom? Did she quilt?
No, I didn't know anyone who quilted. I just loved them.
You just loved to quilt.
I love all kinds. I do embroidery, I crochet, there's some hand applique stuff I do. I like stitching. I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and watch TV. My hands have to be busy.
Okay.
If I'm in a car and my husband's driving, I'm stitching. That's what I do. So I've been crocheting since I was 13.
Oh, wow.
And,
you crochet too?
Oh, yeah. I've made, I can't tell you how many, thousands probably. Series, wow. I've made so many Afghans. But I always gave them away as gifts, and now I'm starting to think with all these quilts, I've got 6 crates of Afghans that when I do eventually go to an art show and sell, I'm thinking about going to St. James eventually and setting up a booth. But that wasn't my goal. I just have to keep stitching,
Yeah.
But who inspired me to quilt? I don't know. I just always loved them. I thought they were gorgeous. Like I said, I made a few in my 20s for my son when he was a baby. And I saw a pattern that just really enthralled me, and I had to make it, but I didn't sandwich it. I just kind of made it like a comforter because I didn't even know to tack them.
Right.
So
no. Yeah.
they didn't hold up very well.
There's a big difference. Yeah.
Right.
So is this something that, do you think a lot of people though they don't dive in because they get intimidated by it?
Absolutely. That's why you need direction. That's where the guild helps out, or take a class. If you buy a machine from a store, like a quilting store, they will teach you how to use the machine, and you can take classes from them. And then there's so much you can learn on YouTube as well. Some people just don't want to get involved in a group, if that's not your thing. But that's what I needed. I needed that direction. And when I joined, my friend and I was sitting there, and there was a lady behind me who was my mom had passed away in 2012, and one of her best friends at St. Patrick's Church was Judy Saunders, and she patted me on the shoulder, and she said, if you girls need fabric, you come to my house. You call me. You come to my house. I have Joanne's fabric in my basement. So I meekly raised my hand because I didn't know where to start. And I went over there, and she told me what patterns to buy, what supplies to buy, sent me home, let me help pick out some fabrics. And I went home and I made a sampler. But I didn't know that there had to be a quarter-inch guide because some turned out 13 inches. They were supposed to be finished 12.5-inch blocks. Some were 12, some were 12.5, some were 13. Well, I had a discard pile, so I realized, I need to buy this quarter-inch foot and be accurate with my, stitching.
Sure.
So I learned, that way.
Do you have that very first one?
Yes, I'll never get rid of that one.
Oh.
Very special to me.
What size is it? Is it a big one? Or?
I think it's a full size or queen.
Oh, wow.
I don't like making small quilts. Unless they're a wall hanging, I make a lot of queens and kings. That's why I'm concerned about the quilt shows. Like, where am I going to hang these quilts? I have to bring my favorites only.
Yeah.
They probably have maybe room for, I'm thinking 30 quilts. I'm not sure. I keep asking them, how many can I bring? As many as you want. No, I'll fill up the whole room.
Yeah.
And then I thought about, I even bought some hanging.
It's Southern Hills, so yeah.
Right, it is at Southern Hills.
Fill it up in. Good thing.
Well, when people come, we ask them to vote for their favorite quilt. Not in my area. My area won't be voted on. You can enter anybody even people from Louisville can enter quilts into the quilt show.
Oh, okay.
So it's not only closed to the members, open to anybody who wants to enter a quilt. So there are certain divisions that you can enter them in. And so the people that come, we ask them to vote for viewer's choice. And then we have challenges from 2020 and 2021 that we do within our group. And then we ask them to vote. We'll have 2 different challenges to vote on. So then at the end, there's big ribbons for those divisions. So anyway, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. So you can, because like if you take a quilt and you're displaying it, if you fold it, you can't see it as well. That's where I know what your thoughts are.
Well, I thought about
because
zip
I was
tying
even-
them and having a whole rack of the king size like that, but then you can span them and open them up. So I was thinking about doing that, but that's a lot of work to do that. And I thought, you know what, I just won't bring as many, because a friend in the guild said to me, do you want to show more of your quilts, or do you want to show more quilts? I said,
Yeah.
I thanked her last meeting. I said, thank you, Jean. That's exactly what I needed to hear. I
Yeah.
want to show more of my quilts.
Yeah.
So I just won't bring as many. And that's less work on me, right?
Right. Well, you think about it, because I mean, if you fold them up, you can't. That's something I've always seen. Like anybody that's ever showed their quilts, like you have to open it up and see it all. You want to see all that.
Right.
So now let's go back to years ago. I did we obviously know that we didn't have all the technology. I'm talking like Pioneer when they were making quilts and stuff. Does that fascinate you how
they did it by hand?
And
Yes.
by hand, and how accurate. I mean, they didn't have all the tools. They didn't have the fancy, but they did it. Isn't that the skill? Is that not just something you, are just completely amazed at in your craft?
Absolutely. And I do know some people that still hand piece and hand quilt everything. The only thing they use the machine for is putting their binding on, because it needs to be really strong and sturdy.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it does amaze me. I have one quilt. My great grandmother did quilt, and I never met her, of course. And when Mom passed away, I acquired that quilt, so it's very special to me. So
yeah.
But she machine pieced it. She didn't, and then I think they sent it out to someone to have a hand quilted, because she didn't. My aunt told me that she did not hand piece them or hand quilt them all. I think they were sent out. I know this particular one I have was, but I'm not a hand quilter either. I tried it.
What's the difference?
Well, you're working with the smaller hoop.
Okay.
And then you're doing the needle up and down, very tiny stitches, and I couldn't. My stitches were too big, and it was just very difficult. It's very difficult. It's an art. That too. It takes a lot of patience.
Yeah.
And a lot of time, and
Yeah.
I didn't want to spend that much time on. Like I said, the piecing of the quilt is where the art comes in.
Yeah.
The quilting is the icing on the cake. Now I can appreciate the hand quilting, but I prefer the machine quilting with the intricate designs, and then I like the variegated threads too. When I use a lot of variegated threads in mine. Yeah. But I like dense, tight quilting. I want the quilting to be seen. Where if you hand quilt, you don't see as much quilting. It just would take forever to quilt that dense quilting with hand.
Well, you go back in the history, and I'm not a history expert at all, but you go back to the history, and you think about pioneers trying to make quilts just to put on beds to keep people warm, and you have to give and in the detail that they had to do this, and to get
using feed sacks,
whatever, yeah, right,
whatever they could find,
and you think about, and then how long it would take to make one.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of I keep seeing Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
That's what's going through my mind. I'm just thinking about all of that detail to get that on the bed, like that, and then to have those, or just would be a treasure, to if they were passed down from the grandmas to grandma or whatever, from the grandchildren, how wonderful. So I think it seems like, and okay, am I right? This is to me, it seems like we went through where people would do quilting, then it kind of went off. You didn't hear as many people doing quilting, if you will, and then now we're back onto it. Is that the way you feel?
I'm not sure, because, like I said, I didn't.
Yeah,
I had 30-year lull there where I didn't touch it.
I don't know that I heard very many people.
No, I remember hearing some like Judy Saunders, Patty Ritz.
Right.
Those ladies, I always seen their work at the fair and things like that, but I didn't ever hear as much about it. I know they did the quilt shows with the guild pre-COVID, but then I feel like once COVID hit, I kind of heard more about it because people had more time. So I don't know.
So
Can you, since you have started quilting and sewing, can you tell the difference in fabric?
It's a lot more expensive. I mean, now you walk into a quilt shop and they want $13 a yard for really good fabric. So I look for bargains now.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
Store closing, I'm there.
Absolutely, yeah.
But yeah, I used to make my own scrubs when I was working in the hospital, and then when fabric started shooting up so high, I thought, well, it's cheaper to buy them.
Yeah.
So that's when I stopped sewing, basically, because I used to make my scrubs a lot. I think that I got stopped about 2006.
Well, and then now, I mean, everything is almost like they're making things disposable, almost like they don't make it like to last as long. It seems like a lot of clothing. Do you feel that too?
Oh, definitely. It's gotten a lot cheaper.
Yeah, I remember like my mom, like before we bought anything, she had to check the zipper. She checked all the buttons. I mean, there was a 10-minute like rundown of before that material, or not material, but before that what item was purchased.
Yeah.
You know, the zipper, is it working right? Is the buttons on tight? You know what I mean? And now it's like a big difference, on the way. It's just funny how things have evolved, or how things are, where we're at, I guess, these days. But when you do quilting, what's the good fabric to quilt with? Like, do you use cotton or what?
Oh, I use only 100% cotton. Yes. And there's certain brands. Northcott I love.
Ooh, we're name dropping.
Yeah, that's my favorite fabric.
Is it?
Yeah, but it's like I said, it's about anywhere from $12 to $13 a yard. So I try to catch it on sale.
Yeah. Is there any quilt that you wanted to do that you've not done? That you got anything in your mind?
Well, one that I'm working on right now that's very difficult is English paper piecing. It's all done by hand. Little hexagons. You can't put hexagons together by machine. I tried that 30 years ago. That's why I quit, because I thought I could quilt, and I told my mother I could make her any quilt she wanted, and she said, grandmother's flower garden. So I cut out all these hexagons and tried to put them together and piece them in the machine, and it was a disaster, and I threw it in the trash, and I thought, I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I stopped. And so now I'm doing it. I've learned how to do it through YouTube and some of the members of the guild. But so what else after that? I don't know. That's the big challenge I'm doing right now. Is the English paper piecing. But the little tiny stitches, 15 stitches an inch, basically. And you're piecing these little hexagons that's wrapped around paper. That's why it's called English paper piecing. You wrap it around paper, and then you baste it, and then you sew them together. And so I've got 32 flowers done so far, and then you need all the backgrounds, and it's going to be a big deal when it's connected. And then I super love applique. So I'll put applique all around the borders of this quilt when it's done.
Wow.
So it'll be a couple-year project for this one.
Ready in 2 years for the quilt guild?
At least 2 years, yeah, because I don't, it hurts my fingers sometimes, the tiny needles I'm working with, so I have to put it down for a while, and maybe a week, and then I'll pick it back up again, Started a new Afghan, a new pattern, so I'm into that right now, crocheting.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Awesome. Now, going back, so being a nurse and learning
radiology technology.
Okay. Well,
medical imaging, yeah.
Okay. Well, these little stitches, I was gonna say that would help. If you ever had to stitch anybody up. One of my my doctors, for delivering one of my babies, he would stitch pillows. Oh. Yeah, he would make pillows. Well, he would work on his stitching,
Oh, yeah. Makes sense.
But anyway, so I didn't know if that was, something, maybe that would help on your stitch. Do a design stitch.
Ooh,
you never know. You never know. 15 stitches an inch.
You need stitches. Which design would you like?
Which design do you want? Well, you want it pretty, right? Of course, after giving birth, you don't really care.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to put down.
Absolutely.
Okay, so going back on this, what do you do at the meetings? This is what I photo in my head. Okay, in the picture in my head, that you all sit around in your chairs, and you're all like Betsy Ross sitting around making quilts, like
while you're talking.
No.
Get your quilt built.
We actually do not do any sewing during the meeting normally.
Oh.
We have to get our business part done and members news or whatever. And
Is there new news, like new quilts on the scene, or what's?
No, then we have
the breaking news.
My favorite part of the meeting is show and tell. So everybody who wants to show whatever they're working on or the latest completed quilt will come up and show their quilt and talk about the design, or just explain a little bit about the quilt. And so that's the fun part of it. So we get a lot of ideas that way. We share pattern. No, we don't share patterns. You can't. It's like copyright on that stuff, but we're not supposed to anyway.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay. Don't do that. Okay.
No, but this is the name of the pattern, and if I want it, I can go purchase that pattern and make that quilt.
Oh, that's cool though. I love that. And so also, then do you draw from ideas?
Absolutely.
That's what I mean. Like if you're showing this, and then maybe like you have, what do you guys think would be best or what look good? That's wonderful.
Yeah. I have a quilt that I just made that I combined 3 patterns. I used the border applique from one pattern. I used a 9-patch idea on point with appliques on point. And then the appliques I took from another pattern. I used 3 patterns, and then the appliques I magnified it up because I wanted bigger blocks. And then threw in some of my own designs from ideas,
Right.
So that was a fun one to make. I didn't think I was going to like it. I thought, And then when it was finished, I really like this quilt the way it turned out. So.
Now, would someone know your quilt? Like, is it distinguished? Like everybody's quilt and the way they do it. Like, are you distinguished? Like, would someone know that this is yours? And
not really. No, I do have one particular designer that I follow a lot. I've probably made at least a dozen of her quilts. Edita Sitar. She's, I think, Hungarian, but she's very popular. She's out in California, and Laundry Basket Quilts is her website.
Oh.
And so anyway, I very intricate stuff that she does, and I follow her a lot.
Oh, cool.
And make some of her quilts.
Now, that would be a fun game for you guys to all put quilts on the table and not tell, and then everybody had to guess whose quilt this is.
And well, if it's Edita Sitar's pattern, it's usually Janet.
But it'd be kind of fun to see if somebody, like if the other ladies in the quilt go, everybody can guess whose is whose. If they didn't know, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Making up fun games for you. To do. Well, it's going to be, and is this free to the public, or how much?
It's $5
to
come to the show.
Okay.
And like I said, it's the 10th and 11th.
I'm looking at.
Oh, I made that jacket. I made that.
Well, and I'm like, this little jacket.
But I did not use.
Beautiful.
See, I used her pattern, her idea. I didn't even use the pattern. I watched. There's on YouTube. She has, and she shows how to make the jacket. You basically buy a sweatshirt. I bought a Hanes sweatshirt, one size larger than what you wear, and you just cut it down the middle, cut the sleeves off, and then you use the sweatshirt as your batting and your pattern. So I used leftover fabrics and blocks and did mine in teals and browns, and I did a paper piece the Star of Kentucky. I was born in Louisville, Kentucky, so I just decided I wanted to put the Star of Kentucky on the back, and then I just kept adding all kinds of stuff. I'll probably have that at the show.
Yeah.
I might enter under miscellaneous because we don't have and I might enter in our local fair too, so you might see it there.
Oh,
I do enter in our fair every year too.
Yeah.
That's her latest one. I didn't make that.
Well, you guys need to tell more radio. So what is that? Is that
That's Montana. Another quilt of laundry basket quilts. Yeah, look at her. Her quilts are amazing. Yeah. I don't think I brought my phone.
Oh, my lands.
My phone's in the car. I would show you some of the
laundry
quilts.
basket quilts. Go there and check them out. I'm just amazed.
So is that a lot? I mean, has that been a lot of work on her part?
She's amazing. She was quilting since she was a little girl. Her mother quilted, so she's been doing it all her life, and she's the best that I know of.
Do a lot of moms and daughters or sons do a lot of them quilt together?
Yeah, the children will help when they were hand quilting. The children, I hear stories of children underneath the loom helping mom push the needle back up or whatever, So they were always watching it, growing up and watching it. I didn't have that. My mom had 7 children, and so she crocheted for us And she would make Barbie doll clothes for us when she was, when we were younger.
Weren't they the best? Barbie doll crochet.
So intricate, turning those little sleeves. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I had a little baby quilt my mom tacked for my baby dolls.
Aww.
I still have that. It's probably falling apart by now, but it's still in the tote with the babies.
That's something you never throw away. You keep.
No, it's pink and white. It was tacked with red thread.
Hey, she did what she had to do.
Absolutely.
It was handy, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I remember her saying, "We don't have any binding, Laura." So she folded it over and just
made it do. That was
Absolutely.
for a doll. It'll work.
Yeah, it was fine. I used it for many, many years. So
Love that. All right, Janet. So when someone comes to the show, and let's say their first time, they just want to see what even this is about, or love looking at quilts and want to see what's some tips that you should give them. Like, what should they be looking for? What do they want to see when they come to the Quilt Guild show?
They're going to see artwork.
Okay.
That's the way I look at quilting. It is artwork. So if you enjoy art, come to the show. It's like I said, you'll get to vote on your favorite one, but there's going to be so many different colors and designs, and some simple and some intricate, but there's a lot of very, very experienced women in this guild.
Yeah.
And I remember that the first time I entered, I got nothing, zero. I entered like 9 quilts and I didn't get a single, not even third place. And I was so disappointed, and I thought, well, I needed to work on accuracy, So then I started, it made me learn and try to work harder. And then I got third place. I can't remember what year it was, maybe 2017. I got third place. In 2018, I got 1/3 place. Well, I got 2/3. Yay!
Yay!
So then 2019 was my year. I don't know. The judges really liked my stuff, and I got I don't even remember how many ribbons, but I got the best of show, judge's choice, and then the viewer's choice, and then the viewer's choice for challenge. And there's one division where I got first, second, third, and she goes, if there had been a fourth, this one would have been a fourth, and that was my quilt too. So I was in tears, and it takes a lot for me to cry. I'm not one of those people that cry easy, not in a movie, nothing. The last time I cried was my mom's funeral. So I was crying because I went home and I was bawling. My husband, after the judging, my husband's like, what happened? He was freaked out. What is going on? And I said, and I couldn't hardly talk.
Yeah.
I'm like, I won. I just couldn't believe it. So it was a good year. And, but I don't expect that again.
Didn't it mean more in the beginning because you didn't, and like how you improved? I mean, like from like in the beginning, like when you went home and you didn't get anything, and and then years later,
when I got a third place, the whole building could hear me yell. I was so excited. And one of the girls said she got excited over third place, and we get disappointed if we don't get first. I mean, to me, to place with those women was such an honor.
Yeah.
Because they are amazing, their talent. So it blew me away to get third. And then the next year when I got third, I'm like, okay, I want to do at least second now. But so 2019 just blew me away, So I'm looking at my quilts now and thinking, are they better than I did in 2019? I don't know. I really had a good collection that year, so I don't know if it all depends on the judge, what the judge likes.
That's exactly, in anything you do.
You never know, because there were some quilts that, in my opinion, deserve first, not me, but she liked, for whatever reason, she liked these. So, but anyway, you never know what.
Well, I think the show the improvement from the beginning to, I mean, how exciting it was to have that not winning feeling, and then all of a sudden, let's take it all home. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure all the colleagues were saying, when's Janet gonna leave? You're doing a sweep. You're doing a clean sweep here. That's awesome. I mean, right?
Well, I kind of felt bad because I knew they deserved, there should have been maybe more. I don't know.
You need to just take it and say, what a blessing.
It was a blessing. I don't expect that again, though.
Yeah, but it's a blessing. Yeah, but and everybody has their day, right?
Right. Even though I'm the featured quilter, I'm still going to enter some quilts this year, so I'll still have some scattered throughout.
So go ahead. Sorry.
We're also going to have every year of our show. We have I don't know if we call it a theme, but that there's a certain quilt that we don't enter, but we'll hang them up on the banister there at the gym at Southern Hills. And this year it's called the Stack and Whack quilt. And a stack and whack is a kaleidoscope quilt where you layer 8 layers of fabric, and they have to be point on. You have to line it up so they're all layered perfectly, and then you cut strips, and then you cut a whack. Like a what is it called? Like a kite. The shape of it. But anyway, it comes together. It comes together like a point. Like a kaleidoscope, so that you never know what's going to be in that middle, and it comes out so cool. Wow. So there's also a similar quilt, One Block Wonder, which I prefer. I do a lot more of those, which are 6 layers, hexagons, and that's also a kaleidoscope. So, but that's the theme this year is the Stack and Whack. So people will be able to see those. Not judged. They're not judgeable.
Do you have T-shirts made Stack and Whack? Please tell me I want a T-shirt, Stack and Whack.
Jane Satansky is the queen of Stack and Whack. She's the one that taught us all how to do it.
We need T-shirts, Stack and Whack. Now, don't tell me those wouldn't sell.
They would.
People would buy them in the parking lot. Stack and Whack.
Jane, if you're listening, let's get a T-shirt.
People would be buying those in the parking lot. I will sell those.
Stack and Whack T-shirts.
Absolutely, right? 2022.
So it's actually, when I'm saying the shape, it's a wedge that you cut. So the point is the kaleidoscope. Whereas the One Block Wonder, you have equilateral triangle, 60 degrees. So you choose which corner, one of those 3 corners is going to be your kaleidoscope, the center. That's why I like that more, because you have more choice. You have a whole lot more to do with the design. Okay. And then I like to throw hollow cubes in there too and make artwork out of it. So those take me a long time, but I love them.
Yeah,
it's fun.
So also, whenever they come, am I correct on this? I'm not by no means Janet, but always like when you look at a quilt, will we be able to touch them? Can you look up, like turn it?
They will hand you a glove.
Okay.
When you pay your $5, they give you a glove, and they give you the little forms that you fill out for whoever, your favorite quilt. And so if you want to touch the quilt, you use the glove. So that's
and
when
then,
it works.
and because you want to see that
that
behind the scenes and see the stitching. That's always, to me, like I've been with people, and the first thing they'll do is flip a quilt over to see that stitching.
Mm-hmm.
To see, and
absolutely.
What's the quilt that's got like it's like a tied knot, like
that's when it's tacked instead of quilted.
Okay, is that harder to do?
No, that's very easy. I've done one like that. I think the very first baby quilt I made for my grandson, I tacked it with candle wicking thread is what I used on that, because I happened to have some. So I figured that would wash and wear better, and it did. It did good.
Now, it seems like that's more of an old-fashioned.
It is. Okay. It's a cheaper way to go, too.
Okay.
Because if you send, let's say, a king-size quilt out for quilting to a long armor, they're going to charge you anywhere from $115 to $200 just for the overall edge-to-edge. But if you decide you want to have it customized, where they will do something here and something different here, and they just change it up, then they are charging you anywhere about $500 it could run. So the tacking is definitely a cheaper way to go, so you don't have to pour a lot of money into quilting. You can do them that way, or hand quilting, of course, is a lot less expensive. If you did it yourself, you have that patience.
Yeah. But that would be, that would be something what a huge accomplishment, when you get it done.
Oh,
yes. You do that last stitch in, or you do that last.
I cannot tell you how many times I finish a quilt and I say, I think this is my favorite. My husband just laughs at me.
Oh, I love that.
He knows.
The next one's probably
the next one I might say that too.
Yeah. Well, it would be. You become quite fond of it, quite close to it, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, I think the talent is it's like for us that do not quilt. Now I can do a little sewing, and I did sewing in 4-H. Made a couple of dresses and stuff. But but to me, this is a whole nother level. This is so intimidating to me to even be in your presence. And that no, I don't think what I would be doing is not. Do we have anything glue or Velcro? Is there any of those things like that?
Well, that liquid glue stuff you you can
Yes.
sew your hem up or whatever.
Well, I have made the blankets where you take the blankets and then you take like the fringe and you just tie them, like that.
Yes, the tie, the
That's
fleece tie ones.
That's what my kids are gonna get.
There you go.
That's my legacy. No, do you write your name on the quilt? Do you sign it? Your quilt?
You're supposed to label them, and you have to have it labeled in order into the show. But I buy them off of Etsy, and they just have quilted by Janet O'Keefe.
Yes, love that.
And it has a little star, a quilted star, like a design that I liked. And so first I bought 100, and then I think the next time last time I think I bought 200 or 300. So
It sounds like you're
it's
gonna
just
need 'em.
easier that way to have them pre-printed. I do the same thing with my crocheting too. I just started buying the labels. I've seen too many things in the Goodwill or flea markets that someone had spent all that time. It breaks my heart to see a quilt or a crochet blanket in a flea market for $20 and there's no label and someone didn't care enough, to pass it on down. So
You're speaking absolutely because you
breaks
think
my
about
heart.
the hours.
Yes.
That were put in that.
So that's why I decided I'm going to label everything,
I think that's wonderful.
and so I can't control when I'm gone. It ends up in the flea market, but whatever. I'm enjoying making them.
Well, it sounds like it, Jana. And also, I want to say you are actually Karen Morgan's sister, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And our thoughts and prayers are to Karen in Brooklyn. And
can you believe that story? Isn't that awful?
Do you want to tell the story? Maybe I guess we can. I know Karen
wouldn't
listens. I
mind.
hope she actually we're streaming so she could listen.
Really?
Yeah.
Is she listening? Oh.
Well, Karen usually listens every morning on Coffee Club.
Oh.
Yeah. So I love her. And so what she was.
Well, she can't be listening because she's in Santa Fe, New Mexico right now.
Well, I'm saying we're streaming it so she could listen.
She can go back. And
good. Okay, perfect.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm sure she wouldn't mind me telling the story. I've told it so many times; it's just devastating. But her daughter Brooklyn had a car accident and broke her leg, and she had a very complex fracture of her right lower leg, and so she has an external fixator on, which is a temporary big apparatus they put on there of metal screws and hold it in place until the swelling goes down, and then they'll go in a week or so later and take that out and put in the permanent plates and screws to set the fractured bones. So she asked her mom, please come out, Mom, I want you. And Karen and I were talking, and she says, Brooklyn wants me to come out. I said, that's your baby. She needs you. She goes, I know. So Karen doesn't travel well alone like that. She's usually with Jeff or friends. She travels a lot, but she doesn't usually travel by herself. So, and she's very directional challenged. So she would not be the one to rent a car. So there was a lot of fears involved for poor Karen.
Love that.
But she went, and she was doing her best to help Brooklyn as much as she could. And I texted her the Friday, and I said, how's Brooklyn? And she said, she's doing okay. I said, how are you? Because I was worried about her, Sure. And she said, I'm okay, but trying to feel comfortable here in her home. Please pray for me, because you're out of your comfort zone. When we get older, man, we need our stuff, right? She didn't have her stuff. So anyway, the next day, my brother was on the phone talking to Karen Saturday morning, talking to Karen on the phone. Brooklyn was still sleeping. She tried to rouse her. She let this give me a little bit longer. So Karen went out on the back porch on the phone, just in her nightgown, only talking to David, my brother, who's in Georgia. And so she went out there and closed the door to talk, whatever. And so in privacy. And then I guess he heard this big crash and heard her screaming, help me, somebody help me. The whole concrete porch just gave away. There's this huge hole that she fell through. So it was hollow under there.
Oh my gosh.
And so she's screaming for help. And my brother's thinking he needs to call 911, but he's thinking if I call 911, they're going to come to Georgia.
Yeah.
So he's thinking, what can I do to help her? She's in trouble, obviously. So he called Jeff and got a three-way call. So now Jeff's on the phone. And so some neighbors heard Karen. And they came over and they said, we've called 911. We've heard your call. So they were able to get the phone back in her hand. And she's like, David, are you still there? He goes, oh my God, Karen, what happened? She goes, I fell through a hole and she could see the bone sticking out through her leg.
Oh my God.
So she knew it was bad. She goes, I gotta go. I gotta call Jeff. And he says, Jeff's on the phone. He goes, no, I gotta call Jeff. He goes, Jeff's on the phone. So finally Jeff started talking to Karen, I'm here. So anyway, there were several pictures that were sent to us. I had my phone in the car, but anyway, it was, it was devastating. Can you believe that? They both have right external fixators on the right lower legs. I like twins, so, I wish Brooklyn could come home with Karen, but she's having her second surgery Tuesday. So Karen's still in the hospital because she's got, such a dirty wound like that. They have to have her on IV antibiotics, and she really needs the help right now. So Jeff's going to fly her home Wednesday, first class. So hopefully she'll be able to get the first seat in the very front and get her leg elevated because that increases her chance of blood clots. So everybody, please pray for her.
That is true.
Yeah, I worry about her. Yeah. So we got to get her home and get her taken care of. And I don't know if Dr. Bell's going to finish it up or where if she has to go to Indianapolis because it's it's a complex fracture. So
well, bless her heart. Well, I just thought it just. Sometimes, a lot can be a lot, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
she was doing such a good thing by going
out
there. And, all of us mommies would be right there. We'd all do that, and then for this to happen, and then you're, in a different area, and you're not home, what I mean?
Well, my brother David was going to rent a car, fly out there, rent a van, and drive her back, but then, and that was the plan, and then they realized 23 hours, and I'm thinking, I text Karen, I said, maybe you need a Foley catheter? That trip home. How's David going to get you in the back? I'm thinking of all these difficult. How's he going to handle her?
Yeah. Well,
and do all because it's going to be difficult, and then probably 2 nights in a hotel. I don't know. Well, so I think that was the right decision to fly her home. I just hope. I wish it was a straight flight, but she has to stop through Dallas. I know.
It's busy.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well,
hopefully there's someone there that can help.
They will. I mean, there are people that will come and get her with the wheelchair and take her to her next flight, but I worry about if she has to go to the restroom. She goes, I'm just not going to drink, Janet. I said, I would still.
Need to drink.
I know. She goes, I'm just not going to drink much. I said, you're still going to need to go to the restroom. I'd ask for a Foley catheter.
Just take the Foley catheter.
That's her decision. She'll figure it all out. But gosh, I just.
Poor thing.
I know. Well, definitely in our thoughts and prayers and sending love and hugs her way. If she's listening, I hope she is listening. I hope she catches this. And I know for your family, you guys are really a close-knit family, and I think it's everybody's feeling this for sure.
Absolutely.
That's tragic and tragedy, but but it'll be definitely a story to tell.
Absolutely.
It's definitely one that what I mean. And,
I told my sister Michelle, I said, this can't get any worse. She goes, wait a minute, don't say that. Have you not read the book of Job? I'm like, no!
Well, the sympathy pains that she's giving for Brooklyn, she's definitely feeling now, So, yeah.
But we don't bounce back as easy when we're older.
It happens, I know.
So,
well, definitely, they're in our thoughts and prayers and speedy recoveries for both, and hopefully it'll be done without.
Now I have 3 sisters in a wheelchair. One with MS, and then another sister that had her whole ankle. Debbie Cooley had her whole ankle reconstructed, so she's healing from that. So I told Karen I'll be there to help you. Now that I'm retired, I have time. I'll be there to help you. But I got this quilt show coming up, so I still haven't pulled out any quilts yet. I haven't started sorting of what I'm going to take, so I need to start working on that soon.
Wrap Karen up in a quilt and take her. Give everybody would love to talk. She'll entertain.
Well, she was supposed to be in Florida during that week. Her 65th birthday is June the 6th, so. I don't know, but I guess they're going to stay home now.
Yeah,
I would assume that would be safe. I don't know. You never know. They love the vacation.
I was going to say,
the Morgans love the vacation.
And don't count her out.
She doesn't understand how I'm a homebody. I'm the exact opposite. I hate going on vacation because I hate packing, and it's not that I hate. It's too stressful for me. I love my home.
Yeah.
And I love my crap. I can't quilt when I'm on vacation unless you take it. I'm not taking my sewing machine.
No, I completely understand. But Karen will actually she'll be. I can see her turning this into, she'll be.
And she's not going to have her pool this summer.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
she has it, but she won't be able to get in for a while.
Yeah. got a little bit of a road ahead of her, definitely.
She's
But
gonna have to get on Amazon.
Maybe I
get
need to
one of the
teach her
food
how to
covers.
crochet again.
there we
So
go.
Mom
Yeah.
taught us all how to crochet,
Oh.
but none of us really. I'm the only one that really continued and picked it up. You know, they all know how to. It's like riding a bike. You just start stitching again. You know, crocheting. Like once you learn how to hold the needle and the tension and how to do the stitches, it's just like you can put it down. I put it down for like 10 years and picked it back up.
Wow.
Mom was out visiting me in California, and it was during Desert Storm, and she was crocheting, and that's when I picked it up again.
Oh, wow.
So that I don't know how old I was, 30 or something. So I put it down for like 10 years. So
That's cool.
and I haven't put it down since.
Well, it sounds like it. Well, I'm excited for you. Congratulations on all your quilts that you're doing, and I appreciate you sharing all this.
Thank
What
you
a
so
great
much for having
story.
me. I appreciate
And I hope
it.
it encourages, people to do that. Why not? At any time, just start. You know what I mean? You can do it.
And they can come to the meeting as a visitor. You can come to 2 meetings, not pay. It's $10 a year to be a member of our guild.
Very affordable.
And also, we will have a raffle quilt for people to buy chances to raffle. We give a raffle quilt that we have made, the guild has made together. So that will be raffled at the show as well.
Love that. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Janet, for coming in. Keep up the great work. And the show is going to be June
10th and 11th, Southern Hills Church.
Southern Hills Church. And at what time does it start?
It's 9 to 4 on Friday, 9 to 3 on Saturday.
Okay, awesome. Yay. All right. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Becky.
And Laura, let's thank our sponsors.
Absolutely. We have Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Celebrity Home Loans, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Dr. Mindy Gunn, and Fox Curley Wealth Management.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Happy Monday.
Happy Memorial Day.
All right.
prescription.
Rock out at work, rock out in the car, or wherever you are with 97.9 WSLM.
They talk about things we like to hear. They've been making us laugh for many a year. It's a big show, it's double wide. It's the real deal, it's bona fide. First comes Speedy, he greases the wheels. Greg, he's a wild card, says just what it feels. Interns all with crazy names. Eddie Van Adler shoots the frames.
Welcome in 7 minutes after the hour. It is a Cook's Pest Control Best of Edition. I am Helmsy. Yeah, Mr. Rick and Bubba Show. RickandBubba.com for everything Rick and Bubba. Hey, check out that store. We got some summer items in there. Some beach towels, those little things you hold sunglasses with. Got a sweet tea glass. Some new items. Check those out. RickandBubba.com. Click on store. All right, here we go. Bubba's always, from time to time, trying to figure out how to tackle the weight situation. And on this day, he came up with the 31 diet. So here you go. Bubba's 31 diet.
Bubba, I'm going to try to be almost like a spokesperson for your new 31 diet because people are not understanding.
Rick, please, and I don't understand, this was not ready to be brought out and published. This was like a study going on.
Well, we're studying.
You know how the drug companies have a study, and then they go, okay, well, this works. We're going to carry it to market. 31 wasn't ready to fly yet.
Well, but let me say this. If we're going to...
This is premature.
Right. If we're going to test 31, though, we do need to explain how 31 works.
Right. I mean, since Speedy has jumped the gun.
Yeah, and you're not paying attention. And
I'm just trying to find some logic in it.
Well, no, that's not why we're doing it. I mean, logic's not there.
All right.
The 31
Speedy
diet.
logic says we can't go to the moon.
Right.
Logic